Next question is, you said you were a firearms instructor.
Still am.
I was going to ask you if you still are. So you still are a firearms instructor.
Yeah.
And is that like, is it specifically for hunting or is it for anything?
No, most of what I teach now is pistol. So like self-defense type stuff. Every now and again, I get to teach offensive shooting.
Yeah.
But that's super rare. And that's a very small percentage of the population that I'll even teach that to. It's
funny, like, I come from a pretty liberal family. So me and my dad have had like conversations about whether you should own a gun. My dad, like, he doesn't, he's not so much like supporting that, like, I should have a gun. Like, you know what I mean? For example. And I've told him before, like my perspective was to him that I considered, for the first time in my life, I considered actually getting a gun because a couple of years ago, I lived in my own apartment by myself as a single woman, and someone tried to break in my apartment. And the fear, that was the first time in my ever life where I actually thought I was going to die. Like, I was like, someone's trying to get in my apartment. I have no plan. It's 3:00 in the morning. I live all alone. I was like, holy shit, I'm dead. I'm going to be dead. Thankfully, it was a drunk neighbor who was just going in the wrong house. So it was not a serious thing, but I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I'm just 3:00 in the morning. I'm by myself and like and he was drunk. So he wasn't even like he was just trying to unlock it. He was banging at the door because I think probably he was in a fight with his fiance or something like that. And he thought that was his house and he was trying to like get her or whatever. Yeah. And which still could have been dangerous. So by the way, if he was like shit-faced drunk, he could have tried to hit me or something. If he hits his wife, you never know what that could have turned into. But anyways,
like the deputy down in Dallas, think that somebody broke in.
Yeah. So exactly. But anyways, after that whole incident, I was so afraid to sleep alone. And I told my dad, I was like, I actually thought of getting a gun. And his argument was like, he's like, you don't know how to use a gun. The guy would probably take the gun from you and shoot you. Like, that's what my dad told me. He could be right. I ended up settling for mace. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I like, growing up from a liberal family, I always thought like, what's the point of having a gun? But that was, like I said, the first time in my life that I was like, I might consider getting one. I think I'm still leaning towards not getting one though, because I have mental health issues and I don't, maybe someone with mental health issues maybe shouldn't have a gun, because not that I would go shooting other people. I might shoot myself. So, for me personally, it might not be the best thing, but I totally support and see valid reasons for having a gun for self-defense reasons, especially as a single female,
Yeah. And that's honestly a lot of the home defense people that I've taught are single females living alone, or even if they have a roommate, something like that. But it's a lot of single females. And what I always tell them is obviously everybody's experience is a little bit different. But me personally, I've only ever had to pull my pistol in my regular civilian life twice. So one time was a guy that was breaking in while I'm sitting on my couch. So he came through the door to me pointing the pistol at the door. So
one thing that also stopped me from getting a gun in New Jersey was that in the laws of New Jersey, they're kind of strict. Like, so if somebody broke in and then I shot them, I would have to be able to prove in court that they were actually trying to harm me.
Yep.
Or else I would go to jail. So that was like another thing. I was like, this is so complicated that it's not worth it for me. I'm just going to stick with mace. Like, because how could I prove that before it's too late? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I understand somebody like kind of like the drunk situation, right? So somebody can come in and they could just be drunk and then I shoot and kill an innocent person. That makes sense to me. But like, at what point can you pull the trigger? Like, how do I determine if this person's going to attack me or not? You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
and that's where some of the training comes in. And also that's pretty common. So a lot of people don't know that even if it's a justified shooting, so like, even if he comes in, has a knife in hand and a gun in the other one, and you pull the trigger, you're still going to jail for that night because you've still killed somebody.
That's what I mean. It's like so complicated. Like, does he have to like have the knife in me, like for me to pull the trigger? Like when can you?
No, that's what I'm saying is even if it's completely justified, like 100%, you're not going to be found guilty. You're still going to go to jail because you killed somebody. Now, it may just be for one night and your attorney can get you off, and say, hey, it's justified. But when the cops show up, this is the other thing I tell people. Cops show up, shut your damn mouth. Tell them I want my attorney and I'm not telling you anything.
What about shooting somebody like in the foot or something? How would is there did they ever teach you that?
Nope.
No.
The only reason that you pull the trigger is to get rid of something. So is to stop them for what they're doing. Because basically, and here's where you run into the issue is you're going to go in front of a jury. If that defense attorney is really good, they can now say that, oh, you had time to aim. And you knew that they weren't as much of a threat as you're trying to say they are because you only shot them in the leg. But now the other side goes to it is now they could possibly sue you.
Because now they're alive and have a voice and then come up with a story. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So not that I would ever justify anybody being killed, but that's the whole purpose of the self-defense with a firearm is to stop that attacker completely. So, and we always teach people is that you don't point your firearm at anything you don't intend to destroy.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Wow.
Yeah. And that's the reason we use that word. That's right out of, an instructor's guide. Destroy. So, because you want to end it. So.
That makes sense. Wow. That's I have a lot of my brain just went off into other directions about that one. Maybe I'll have you on a second podcast because this was definitely an interesting conversation, but just to tease the listeners, lately I've been thinking about the ethics of killing criminal. What is it called? When you get the electric chair, what do they call that?
Punishment.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the ethics of that, because it's interesting. We have there's a lot of controversy about abortion and stuff like that, but then there's situations like that where it's a deeper conversation. We can talk about that for another hour, so I'll probably save that one for a different time. But yeah, that stuff's really interesting to me.